And when you're saying the ramp test, the ramp test is literally a certain person stood on a slope with a certain pair of shoes and determining how much you slip at a certain...
Depending on the gradient of the ramp.
Of the ramp,
yeah.
and the tactile finish of the tile. It is literally that. If you Google it or put it into AI, you'll see a scientist stood on a slope. You genuinely do. The in-out, wow.
So the in-out concept is matching your internal tiles to your external paving. There's a lot of different finishes, textures, surfaces that we'll go into, but the concept of in and out when we speak about it is having a flow from your internal tiles to your external tiles, completely matching on colourways. So first, if you just want to run us through the finishes and the difference between your internal and your external, even though they look exactly the same on the surface.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They do look exactly the same. From your inside tiles, so you've got whatever tile you choose in a what is called an R9 rated surface.
I'll explain that after.
Yeah, so you've got the same tile with the external tile with an R11 finish for the exterior. And like you say, you can go into the whys that is and what that means, if you like.
So for the ramp, for an R rating, it is basically for a ramp test. So you start with an R9, which is good and suitable for internal residential applications, and then you have R10, which is slightly more slip resistant, and then you have R11, R12 and R13. So R9 is, I would say, the smoothest anti-slip finish surface. Inside you don't want it to be too rough unless you have the need in a bathroom for super anti-slip for different needs. R9's great for, it still is anti-slip, however it's great for cleaning and just general maintenance in the house. If it was to be in a commercial building, you probably would look at more R10, even going up to R11 depending on the traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Externally, we would always have a minimum of R11. That means that it's sound for outside. But again, excuse me, you can go up to R12 and R13, which again is more of a commercial rating. So whenever we talk about an R rating, it is literally just a ramp test that decides where it sits on the scale between 9 and 13 for tiles, and depending on where it sits, basically represents its slip rating, which is just great for you to know about, and commercially wise, it's very important.
And when you're saying the ramp test, the ramp test is literally a certain person stood on a slope with a certain pair of shoes and determining how much you slip at a certain...
Depending on the
gradient of the ramp,
yeah.
and the tactile finish of the tile. It is literally that. If you Google it or put it into AI, you'll see a scientist stood on a slope. You genuinely do.
I think I explained it on a social media post that we did, and I spoke about it, and I realised I didn't even explain what a ramp test was, because to me it's just ramp test, but it's so true that it's not even, you just wouldn't even think that though, would you? No,
absolutely. So somebody at a certain weight, certain parameters, all the same. But yeah, so if you stood on this and slid straight down, that'd be an R rating of 1 or something like that. So yeah.
One thing to keep in mind is everything that RF paving do, internally we wouldn't go lower than an R9, and externally all of our products are R11 slip rated. Again, you can go for additional slip ratings, which we offer, but that's the industry standard for me, so that's always something to look out for when you're looking for tiles or paving.
So the other differences then between your internal tiles and your external, well, it is still a tile, we'll call it paving. Mm-hmm. What about the thickness?
Your depth.
Yeah,
so you've got 2 different depths. Your internal depth is 1 centimetre, which is
10 millimetres.
10 millimetres. And then you've got your external, which is 2 centimetres, which is 20 millimetres.
Well done. Very good.
So just a different thickness, and it is purely just for suitability. So externally it can be a little bit more load bearing, and how it's laid differs from internally to externally. So we probably wouldn't ever recommend the 10mm to be outside unless it was in a different application like a roof terrace or something suitable of how it's laid.
Yeah,
so
how it's laid, similar to an internal tile, because like you say, you can get 1cm tiles which have the R11 slip rating, which you can use externally, but they have to be fixed as if they were being laid internally.
Yeah, so it's just a different consideration, but you can do it. But the most typical application is 1cm inside, 2cm outside, because that's just how people traditionally lay.
Yeah,
both methods.
Bit more durable externally. That's the thing. Obviously, the thickness.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So another difference.
Formats. Does that really make a difference?
So, well, it's that's a benefit of in and out is that you can match obviously your internal tiles with your external tiles. You can keep exactly the same format and the same lines. However, you can also mix it up. If you wanted to add different sizes and different textures into a pattern, but you still wanted a consistent colourway, it opens it up for that as well, because especially the ranges that we do, there's so many different finishes, as in the slip ratings we were talking about, and sizes, so you can mix the formats. And
when we talk about formats, that basically we're on about the size of the tile, aren't we? Yeah, so you can, like Em says, going straight lines, straight outside, continuing that, or you can mix it up by putting borders in and changing the format, the direction of the paving, or whatever you want. But the different sizes and different formats.
Definitely a benefit.
But the inside out, I would sort of like say we're talking a bit on the technical side of things.
Yeah.
What would you say the main benefit of a customer of ours wanting the inside out?
So I think the inside out supports the current trend of a flow matching your internal to your external.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very on trend. I think we are currently in a heat wave right now recording this. So the weather seems to be year on year changing of what the typical English weather is, and having an internal to external flow connects your home and garden together, and it makes it just more of a cohesive space.
Cohesive, yeah, exactly, yeah.
I personally as well think that having the same colourway internally and externally makes the space appear bigger.
Yeah, absolutely.
Possibly easier from a design point of view, because you have your base colourway and then it's matching to that, instead of making a lot of different decisions on different parts. It actually takes it out for you. You've got one tile. It does in and out. It's a nice.
We've literally had people say that if we can have one tile, we don't have to think about anything else.
If you're building a house, how many choices have you got to make?
Oh, yeah, ridiculous amount. Yeah.
So it's nice to have something that's just it's like I don't know the word you call it, but it's the structure of your house. That's kind of, it's a big choice that kind of dictates the flow of how your house works.
It does, yeah. So because if you've got that, and you like you say, I think we've said it before in previous episodes about your tile choice dictates your kitchen cupboards or anything, or your external,
your paint, your carpets,
your external furniture or whatever, that type of thing.
External stone of how it looks into out.
Yeah, indeed. So,
one thing I will point out with in and out is that if it feels different, it looks a bit different on depth, but when it is actually fitted and down, the colour is exactly the same. One thing to consider is it's very different lighting internally to externally. So I would always recommend, this is what I'd recommend if you're buying paving tiles or the in and out together, is actually get a sample in your space, because it looks completely different on lighting. It's like paint colours. You can go in your house and be like, oh, I love that paint colour.
Yeah.
I put it in my house and I'm like, it doesn't look anything like it looks in your house.
Yeah. So, no, I've got matching tiles going out, as we're talking about now. Matching tiles from the garden room going out into the garden, the paving. The colours are exactly the same, but obviously it looks darker inside than it does outside. Yeah. So one looks, you won't be surprised to hear, as you know, one looks a darker beige than the lighter beige. Because we all know Andy's beige.
Andy loves beige.
Yeah. So yeah, it does look different in different sort of like applications.
But it
obviously
brings the flow all
It does.
together.
Yeah.
I think it's good to know the technical information on the tiles to the paving anyway,
Mm-hmm.
because even if you're getting a matching colour, you still get all the advantages
Yeah.
of it. But one thing that we are seeing becoming increasingly popular within RF and what we're doing, people we're speaking to, especially retail customers at shows who are actively doing projects, is something that they are looking for, to have that flow. And I think that's become a lot more apparent in the past few years, and I think it's only going to get more. So
I think so, yeah.
Nice little topic to cover just for a bit of education.
And like you say, with the summers seem to be changing as they are. It's 35 degrees outside.
Yeah.
And it's
Aircon.
45 degrees in here.
Yeah.
That's why I'm
I bet
sweating,
it
by
is.
the way.
I actually bet it is.
But yeah, so I think you're right. I think it's that creating that flow, that cohesive look.
And maintenance, as in you've got one product that you have to maintain throughout. If you've got wood floors going to LVT to go into tiles, it simplifies everything in and out.
Yeah.
And for me, the biggest thing is the in to out. Like, your garden should feel part of your home, and in and out very much does that.
And I think we've covered inside out, have we?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.